So, welcome everyone. It's good to see you. Now, today is the topic of today is about the value of structure. It's something very, very important in meditation practice. It's often overlooked. Creates a whole lot of trouble for a lot of meditators, if overlooked. And in general, it causes a whole lot of problems in our life if we do not have structure. And now my father always said that he doesn't like the word discipline very much. He likes to use the word structure much more, because for him discipline implies that you do something that you do not want to do really, and you kind of force yourself to do it. I disagree with that. I say that both have a place, structure and discipline. And discipline is the ability, in fact, yes, to do something that you might not prefer to do, that you might not want to do, but that nonetheless might be good for you. Let's say, for example, you tell your friends, well, tomorrow I will get up at 5 a.m. Or you say, I want to eat more healthy food or something like that, yes? If you tell that to yourself, and then the next time you come by, I don't know, one of those street stands outside that sells deep fried chicken or something, and you smell it and you think, deep fried chicken, and you go for deep fried chicken, you disappoint yourself. So that's where discipline might come in and say, oh, wait a second, I actually wanted to do something that's good for me, that's healthy. And even though I might prefer the deep fried chicken right now, is it really good for me? So discipline means that you're able to actually stop, and you're able to exercise some control over your choices. You're not just a creature of habit. You're not just following your preference. This is very often said by some of the greatest meditation masters in our tradition, that to see the truth, to abide with truth, does not mean that you should follow your preference. Because very often what appears good for us, what appears nice to us, is actually harming us and harming others. And very often what appears to be harmful might actually be quite good to us. It might actually quite be beneficial, right? You might not want to get up early in the morning and start your day with something nice, I don't know. But it might be really good for you to do that. Some medicine tastes bitter, but it's nonetheless good to eat it. If you follow your preference, you don't eat it, because I don't like bitter taste. Sometimes you might have a habit of just blindly posting something on Facebook. You see someone that you disagree with, and you kind of have to teach them your ways. You have to convince them that you know better than them, and so before you know it, you click send. And then, you have trouble on your hands. People are offended about what you said and so forth. You followed preference, not necessarily truth or kindness. Just out of preference doing something, because I feel like doing it right now. So that's not entirely the way we should be doing things. Like, just out of feeling, I don't feel like I want to meditate now, therefore should I not be doing it? Because I'm not feeling like doing it. So that's the value of discipline. Also, for example, if you set yourself a regular schedule for meditation practice, like every morning at 6 a.m. you want to get up and do your half an hour of meditation, there's several benefits that come with doing that in a disciplined way. One, you build self-esteem. You're impressing yourself. You're actually doing something that is worthy of respect. You start respecting yourself. Wow. I actually can do that. That's amazing. Two, you're building patience. You're building the power of endurance. Even though it's difficult, you're still able to do it. So that when life gets difficult, you're able to relax anyways and just pull through it. Because you know how to relax through hard times. That's an important skill. Some of the finest people that I know are people who've experienced tremendous hardship in their life. And it is through this hardship that they grew and that they shaped and developed their character to a very high degree. Very impressive people. So that is something that makes you stronger, like hardship. It's not a bad thing. And discipline is something that doesn't shy away from hardship. It says, even though there is hardship, I still do it because I know it's good for me. That's how much I respect myself. So that builds some power there. So that's how I see discipline. This is a necessary skill on the path. Otherwise, if you leave a child to its own device and you imagine, you just let a child do whatever a child wants to do, what would happen? It would turn into an adult that is absolutely unable to handle life.
Become a politician.
Becomes a politician, maybe, yes. Who knows, yes. So there's this kind of being spoiled. Some parents, they don't care. They just let their children do whatever they want to do. It's a very loose kind of self-parenting. And then there's the other extreme of parents who just constantly control their children out of fear and so forth. That's also not good. But as always, there is a healthy balance. So having discipline to a huge extent is not that healthy also. Like you would be constantly pushing yourself. Not good. So we need a counterbalance. You need to also be able to relax and let things go. Like if you're very disciplined with time or you're very disciplined with keeping appointments and so forth, let's say that, and then somebody doesn't respect your time, and somebody doesn't respect an appointment, then we need to be able to relax also. Just had that today, with even just a slight delay of someone coming a little bit too late, it raised this topic. It's not a problem really, but it raised this topic of being too late and so forth. I encounter that quite a lot as I'm a German. It's, how you say, I'm very pointly. Yes, and my father did his job to really raise me to be absolutely strict with time. Meaning if I'm 3 minutes too late, he would scold me, like that. No, you're 3 minutes late, why didn't you call? Why didn't you say, I'm on the way? You could have done that. We were waiting for you, something like that. Maybe not 3 minutes, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You get the point. Yeah, he was pretty strict. And I like that quality somehow because it really teaches me to respect other people and their time. Because I know that if I'm too late, they will wait. See what I mean? That's a good quality. And it requires a discipline. At least the discipline, for example, to say, well, I'm on my way. Just to send a quick text or something. No need to be waiting, I'll be a bit later or something like that. So there's so many of these examples where discipline comes in handy. I've heard of a Zen master who was teaching Aikido, and he would have a certain time when the class starts. Let's say it's like today at 7 p.m. class starts, and all the students have to be there by 7 p.m. If anyone would come too late, he would stand in front of closed doors. He couldn't come in anymore. That's it. You're too late, you don't deserve class. Something like that. It's pretty straightforward and tough. But then on the other hand, it really shapes a person's character. So you become really, really reliable in turn. That means I'll be there at 6 p.m. You know, that guy will be there at 6 p.m. That's a good quality to have. And it's maybe not easily developed, but it's still good. And it requires the power of discipline. You need to pull through with it. Like what you say you need to do. This is also important quality that we develop when we cultivate discipline. Also, what we say we do. So you become super reliable. First and foremost, to yourself. You can trust yourself. You're not disappointing yourself. That's why this is so important. When we're disappointing ourselves, we lose self-respect. And with that, our self-esteem crumbles. We don't like ourselves very much as a result. We have a hard time relaxing with ourselves. It's not easy to relax with ourselves. You sit down on a little meditation mat and you close your eyes, but something is off. It's difficult to concentrate. The mind wanders off all the time. Why does the mind run away from you? Why does it need to be distracted from you? Because it doesn't really trust you. It can't relax around you. It doesn't really know what you want, so you can't give it direction. And it doesn't even know if you give it direction, will it be a good direction? Will it be a helpful direction, or will it just be turn left, turn right, now focus on the breath, focus harder, relax deeper? Of course that doesn't work. The mind wants to run away. That applies to everything we do in life, every little thing. So for a meditator, everything is practice. Everything is practice. Every little thing. It starts with, how do you make your bed when you get up in the morning? What do you do with your bed? You leave your bed, how do you leave the bed? It starts there. How mindful are you engaged with yourself and your environment? Are you just throwing the blankets and leave them until you come back in the evening, or do you nicely fold them? Do you clean your room before you leave? How do you brush your teeth? How do you go to the bathroom? How do you eat? All these kind of little tiny little things that can be practiced and cultivated in day-to-day life. We say this is the first thing that we really do in life to make room for meditation practice, to create a structure for meditation practice to actually have a place. For most people, their lifestyles are so busy and their minds are so busy that meditation has no place, really. So the first thing we can do actually to integrate meditation, to invite this beautiful practice into our life, is to create a space for it. And I'm not meaning a meditation corner particularly. That's okay too. You can make your own place where you sit regularly. That's good too. But I mean to create a structure every day that you stick to. And if you know that you cannot do it, don't say that you will do it. For example, I know myself very well. My days are very fluctuating. I have a lot of things to do, go around a lot, so I don't really make myself a structure that is very time-based. I have to be a bit more flexible. So instead I say, for example, well, every day I want to do a certain amount of practice by myself. And then I stick to that. And I also like to go day by day, not from now until the rest of the year or until I die, I will meditate 1 hour every day. That's a dangerous one too. Better to go just day by day. Today I would like to fill in the blank. And then do it. It's a little exercise. Today I would like to do half an hour meditation practice. I'm making an appointment with myself. Take it seriously. You're making an appointment with yourself. Do you want to disappoint yourself? Because the more you disappoint yourself, the less you respect yourself. What happens if you have a friend that you cannot trust? When they say, I'll be there by 6 p.m. and it's 6:35, 6:45, and you need to call them, and they say, yeah, I'm on my way, I just totally forgot. And that happens many times in a row. You will, when they say the next time I'll be there by 6 p.m., you don't believe them anymore. The same thing happens with yourself as well. When you say something like, I'm going to do meditation every day, or I'm going to drink a green smoothie by lunch every day to look after my health, or do yoga practice every day, or go to the gym, or whatever it is, and you're not following through, then the same thing happens just towards yourself. You start becoming disappointed by yourself. And then usually we need to put on a whole lot of masks around us that show that we're still trustworthy and we got our stuff together, when that is actually not really true. We actually don't like ourselves. So the more we don't like ourselves, often the more loud we have to show to the world that we have all stuff together. And I love my life. When deep down inside, actually, no, the opposite is the case. The outside is merely a reflection or a very loud, fancy mask, which is supposed to cover up the reality of how we feel about ourselves. So, structuring ourselves helps with the practice of presence. It is not just that, just be present. Just, when you walk, then walk. When you talk, then talk. When you listen, then listen, and so forth. That is true too, but that's not just the whole practice. It has to be within a certain framework that allows for that practice to really go deep. Otherwise, and some of you might have an experience of that, you might be actually practicing for a year or two, but nothing really changes. So the mind doesn't drop deeper. It's kind of on a plateau. The practice doesn't really develop any. In the beginning, there's this initial power, and you're just like, wow, meditation is awesome, I love it. And you sit for a little while, and then you come to a plateau, and then it doesn't really develop any further. That's because of no structure. The structure doesn't allow for the practice to be integrated deeper into your daily rhythm.
It can agrees with you.
It might also disagree. So when we have an interest in happiness, do you want to be happy? Yeah, I suppose, right? You want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. You know how happy you can be? What's the upper limit? What do you think? How happy can you actually be? What's the potential there? How good can you feel? You can feel pretty good, okay? You can feel very, very good. The feelings that we have on the lowest levels of happiness, which is the levels that we know, like having a good conversation, having a good dinner, having someone say I love you, sexual union. There's many, many things that give us pleasure, that feel good. These levels of happiness are very low levels of happiness. So where does happiness come from? Yes, and more specific, where does it come from? What's the birthplace, the source of happiness?
Your spirit.
The spirit, yes. Yes, you can say that. The spirit. Or let's keep it a bit more simple, a bit more on the closer levels. It would be stillness in the mind. As long as the mind moves, it is very hard to feel good. But when the mind becomes quiet and really present, it's super easy to feel good. You might know that from, do you do any sports? Music, arts, anything like that? Do you know those times that when you're doing something so intensely, you're just forgetting yourself and you're forgetting time? And you look at your watch and you find, oh my God, it's 5 hours later. It felt like a minute. That in that moment, that is such an example. You're so at one with what you're doing, you forget even that you exist. You're so fully in this activity, all the problems fade and disappear. And that is, if you engage that state consciously, such as in meditation, meaning you go deep and you stay with just one thing, only the breath. And let the mind slowly adapt to the breath or unify with the breath, merge with the breath. It gives rise to a very specific kind of happiness. A very specific kind of well-being in the body and in the mind, which is incomparably much better than the stuff that we usually know. The stuff, the usual happiness that we experience, like look at your life. Look at a happy moment. Any happy moment. And then look at the characteristic of your experience in an honest way. How is the experience of happiness? And if nothing comes to your mind, I invite you over the next week to study happiness a little bit. The next time you feel happy, look at the happiness. What is it like? What's your experience of happiness like? Get to know it. Just observe it while it's there. Maybe you laugh about a joke. As you're laughing, you feel happy, right? What's really going on in your body as you're laughing? Observe. Have a look. Or you see a beautiful sunset or something. You see that beautiful sunset, you feel good. Maybe that's a higher level of happiness than the joke that you've heard before. Maybe it's a bit more sweet. Why is it more sweet? What makes this one more special? Just when you're feeling good in your life, have a look at these moments when you feel good. And then you will see what's possible. I'm saying all this to motivate you to create a structure that allows for your training to pull you up. And you can start by just creating like simple structures, simple things. Like making a certain fixed time every day, or saying that every time I come back home from work and before I go to sleep, I want to put in 20 minutes of meditation or 30 minutes of meditation, an hour of meditation. And actually cultivate happiness. It's a bit of a funny way to say cultivating happiness, because it's more like you're taking away things that are in the way of happiness. It's more like that. Yeah. And so the more you let go of, the happier you can be. So the secret to being at peace with yourself is presence. Some people have trouble sleeping at night. They say, I have so many thoughts going through my head. I can't sleep. That is actually quite common. Difficulty sleeping. So what can you do in such a situation? One, you create structure. What kind of structure? How do you go to bed? It starts there. Many people go to bed with their phones, looking at YouTube clips or reading the news or something like that. And then, sure, you're burdening your mind, which is already tired and ready to go to bed and rest, with more stuff. Maybe you have agitated conversations with your significant other about political stuff or about relationship issues, whatever. You're agitating the mind before going to sleep. What means structure? Here it means having a very set time before, 2 hours before you go to sleep, or 1 hour before you go to sleep. Turn off all things. Turn off your phone, and go to sleep. Another structure, go to sleep same time every day. Same time. So your body has a fair chance to know, okay, now it seems to be sleeping time. Some people go to bed at 12 sometimes, then at 7 at others, then again at 9, then at 1. Just constantly fluctuating. Your body even doesn't have a chance to know what's up. It can't even adapt, and it messes up the whole system in many ways. So it's important there, structure. You want good sleep? Start with the way you go to sleep. How do you prepare for the night? Do you allow yourself to actually sink down before you go to bed? Do you give yourself time? Say, okay, in 2 hours I will sleep. Now it's time to let everything sink down. To stop the daily activities, to be with my wife, to take a shower, maybe to sit quietly with the family, to read a book, to slow down. Many people are always like, activity, sleep. And then, of course, your whole body and mind are still like, activity. You can't fall asleep like that. You gotta have some time, like an airplane that comes down and lands smoothly coming down, preparing yourself to land. There, another example of structure, and it's such a simple thing. And what I find mind-boggling is even people who are already suffering severe stress and health problems, even they know they should be doing that, they do not do it. So this is then up to us. That's the discipline. You need to do it. Not just listen and then forget it. It has to be done. And then, yes, sure, the benefits will show. Then when you wake up in the night, what do? Got to have some structure. You got to know what to do. So when you wake up and you know already, I will be flooded by thoughts. You need to have like a sort of a quote-unquote battle plan. You need to know what to do. How to relax then. For example, one tip is do not move your body. Stop tossing and turning. I've mentioned that the other day as well. Your brain and your body, they communicate. And your brain gives your body, for example, the urge to roll over, or it gives it an itch. Telling the body, hey, are you ready to be paralyzed? Or not yet? This is known in scientific terms, it's the so-called rollover signal. Okay, so the brain gives the body a rollover signal. Turn to your right side, it's so much more comfortable. Just turn around. And so if you turn around, your brain knows in that moment, okay, not ready to be paralyzed yet. He seems to be still busy. He seems to be still wide awake and active. So many people toss and turn when they're insomniacs. Instead of tossing and turning, lie down comfortably and keep your posture, just like in meditation practice. Don't move your body. Structure. You give yourself some structure. Okay, in that structure I do not move my body. Now as you lie in bed, stay with your breath. Breathing in, feeling the breath. Breathing out, feeling how the body and the breath relax. Sinking into the mattress. Nice. Then breathing in again. Breathing out again. Relaxing even more. Sinking into the mattress. Third structure. Do not do this to fall asleep. Why not? Any idea? You're stressed.
The stress of not falling asleep.
Exactly. You will watch your, I'm still not asleep, breathing in, breathing out. I'm lying here for 2 damn hours and I'm not yet asleep. This stuff doesn't work. No. You're stressing out about falling asleep. Instead, come back to the breath. So you can spend the whole night, the attitude is like that. Okay, even if I spend the whole night in meditation, I'll be still relaxed in the next morning. Because you will be. Like you gotta stop caring about falling asleep. Okay, I'm awake now, great. To the breath, breathing in, breathing out. I'm not meaning a sarcastic great. Okay, I'm awake now, great. Okay, I'm awake, great, fantastic. I can relax with my breath. Now I have some time to meditate. No excuses. It's nice and quiet, the crickets are outside. It's beautiful, the night is wonderful. I fall asleep in no time when I wake up at night because I'm like, hey, cool, I'm awake. And I'm back to sleep. Because I like waking up at night because then I can slide back into sleep consciously.
Very aware of your dreams when you wake up?
Yes, very much so, yeah. Even sometimes while they happen. So that all requires relax. It's okay. You are okay. Being awake is okay. Having thoughts is okay. If you say no to any of that, yeah, that's stress. You can't sleep, for sure. Hey, dear thoughts, feel free to dance. I'll be just lying here and being with the breath. Playful, take it easy, relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Smile at your body, smile into your body. Just be kind to yourself. It's all right. No need to sleep. You're awake. Obviously, there's a reason for that. That's okay. You see how much it depends on structure. First, you need to really know what to do, that the whole meditation thing has, and actually you can have a footing with it. You can put your foot into the door, that's structure. Then you can come in. So if there is no structure, it's going to be super difficult to achieve anything in life. Even any skilled businessman knows, or businesswoman knows, that you need a sharp plan. You need to know what you want, and you need to know the steps to get it. And then you need the discipline to follow through. Also in hard times, when you do not want to follow through. These are the people who really get successful because they do not follow their desires of wanting and not wanting. They do it because they have a goal. They get to the goal. It's a quality that's pretty rare in this world and difficult to cultivate, but very worthwhile. So it all might sound a bit harsh and everything. That's why I always mention, be kind. Give yourself the space to fail. It's fine too to fail. It's not a problem at all. This is learning. Every time you fall down, you learn how to get up and do it better and improve. It's actually fun. It's okay to fail. Every time when you fail, you learn something. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, let's try it a different way. In meditation, every meditation session is full of failures. And every time you fail, you learn a bit more of how to direct your consciousness ever slightly bit better. And how to allow yourself a bit more space. How to open up a bit more. And a bit more. How to give it more space. Even more space. How to slowly trust yourself as awareness and relax back into it. How to let go of that tiny little self in your head, which has the idea that it controls the world and everything. How you become more and more soft. That requires structure. In Buddhist training, traditional Buddhist training, we have these 3 trainings. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila is very often translated as virtue or ethics or morality. That is the training of structure. It means adjusting our behavior so that our behavior becomes conducive to the cultivation of happiness. And it becomes conducive to letting go of suffering and pain. That's Sila. And only on the basis of Sila then we develop Samadhi, which is deep meditation, single-pointedness. And on the basis of that you break through to Panya, which is wisdom, direct insight into the nature of reality. That is liberating. Liberating from suffering and stress. Sila is the very first, it's considered the foundation of a house. Structure in life. Very important. If you want to get anywhere, have some success in your meditation practice, think about it. How do I implement it right now? Does it work? How could I optimize it? And then another thing that I just want to mention at the end of this session is take note. How does it go? Are you really progressing? You need to measure your activities as well. It's not just, okay, I'm going to do this now, and then you do this for a year, and after the year you're kind of like, I'm not sure if it worked or not. Does it actually work? Are you getting better at meditation? What tells you that you do? In the beginning, it's still easy to say that. You say, okay, I become a bit more peaceful, less reactive, I sleep better, I feel a bit more happy overall, okay. But then when it gets a bit deeper into the practice, then it becomes more subtle. How do I really know that I'm getting something out of it? How does it go better? You need to measure your progress as well. Any good scientist does that. They're not just doing wild experiments. Some of them, they do hundreds and thousands of test runs before they find the right medicine or the right solution. If they wouldn't document any of those test runs, they wouldn't even know which one worked. They would be facing the chaos of, was it test run 948 or test run 12 that worked? So it's important to know, okay, this one worked. Why did it work? How was it different from the other ones and so forth? Same with your meditation practice. What is it that makes you relaxed? What is it that makes you feel good? What is it that helps you to let go of problems and suffering? And then deeper and deeper and so forth. Okay, so that's all that comes to mind for today concerning structure and discipline. Is there any questions?